Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and you're watching Overreaction Monday. Coming up, I'm going to talk about the top 3 trending topics going on around or after the Raiders' 20-23 loss to the Indianapolis Colts. We're going to talk about Antonio Pierce. We're going to talk about Aidan O'Connell. And there's one player that's been getting a lot of negative feedback amongst the nation that I don't really know is 100% deserving. Now, let's get one thing straight. I am a frustrated individual still at this point, even though, you get to get a good night's sleep in, you have a nice New Year's Eve, and man, oh man, this was a game that the Raiders should have beat the Indianapolis Colts, right? Like, you beat the Chiefs on Christmas Day, and you have a letdown game against Indy. I mean, I think every single person amongst the nation really thought that we were going to come away with a W on Sunday in Week 17, and unfortunately, you're able to fall just a little bit short, which is why there's going to be some controversy around Antonio Pierce and whether or not he's going to be the Raiders head coach in 2024. But speaking of 2024, let me just say this real quick, okay? I want everybody to have a happy, and I hope everyone had a happy New Year, but I want you to be safe. I want you to be responsible in the year of 2024. The Raiders aren't going to win a Super Bowl this season. But you know what, man? This offseason, you're going to find a new head coach. Maybe it's Antonio Pierce. You're going to get a new OC. You're going to get a new quarterback. This is going to be the craziest, most wildest, the most rumor-filled offseason that we have ever covered here. So if you bleed silver and black, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be live on Tuesday here on the Raiders Report, and I don't want you to miss it. All right, it's Overreaction Monday. Let's go to the very first story here. Antonio Pierce, with this loss to the Colts, blew his opportunity at being the next Raiders head coach. I'm going to give this one only one just win, baby. I think it's a small shredded truth. I would still sit up here and say that I'm pretty damn confident that Antonio Pierce is going to be the next head coach of the Silver and Black. After the Raiders lost, he had a very long conversation with Mark Davis, and I don't know how that conversation went, but from sources close to me, they told me that Davis and Pierce did talk a lot of things, and I'm a big believer where there's smoke, there's fire, and if you don't follow Ian Rappaport, and if you're not staying up to date with the latest ins and outs of the Raiders head coaching cycle, Ian Rappaport today put out a story that basically Jim Harbaugh hired the exact same agent that is agents with Tom Brady, and the rumors, the smoke is starting to grow again around Harbaugh potentially joining the Raiders. Last week I said less than 5% chance at that current moment. At that current moment, there was less than a 5% chance that Jim Harbaugh was the Las Vegas Raiders head coach this next offseason. Here's the thing, though. Today that I am making this video, from everybody that I'm listening to, I'm going to say this is now back up to 25% chance that Jim Harbaugh could be the next Raiders head coach. Like, you lose a game like that, Davis was not happy. I still think Antonio Pierce is the front runner. You still have to go and do the hiring process. Like, you have to interview people. But at the end of the day, like, Antonio dropped the ball. Like, Antonio Pierce was not good against the Indianapolis Colts. No matter how you look at it, there were so many coaching decisions in that game that he just did not live up to the pedigree. And he would probably say the exact same thing. If Antonio Pierce is going to say, my resume's on the field. Well, today your resume was not very good. Against the Indianapolis Colts, it wasn't very good. Do I still think that Antonio Pierce is going to be the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders in 2024? Yes, I do. But guess what? This show's about the nation. And I want to know what you guys have to say. Give me a Y for yes. Type your N for no. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. Do you want Antonio Pierce to be the Raiders head coach next season? I do want Antonio Pierce to be the head coach. To me, he's a Raider. He bleeds silver and black. He brings that competitive advantage. And yeah, this was not a great defensive ball game by the silver and black against Indy. But how many times are you going to ask your defense to 100% bail you out? Like, how many times are you going to ask your defense to play a just unbelievable game? I mean, here's the thing. In the NFL, teams are going to score 20 points. And the Raiders are scrapping and clawing right now to put up 20. You're running the Josh McDaniels offense with Bo Hardegree. No disrespect to Bo Hardegree, but this man has no business being an offensive coordinator in the National Football League. If Bo wants to be a quarterback coach, cool. Go let him do it. but you've been watching the same old song and dance game after game after game. Yeah, the Chargers game was cool. But Hardegree has no business being an OC, and that's why one of the biggest reasons why they lost this game against the Indianapolis Colts. Let's now go to the quarterback position. The Raiders need to find a new quarterback in 2024. Here's the thing. They're going to cut Jimmy Garoppolo. They're going to cut Brian Hoyer. Those things are for just win babies. Believe it, baby. But that's not the question. The question is, do you have to find a new QB in 2024? Aidan was 30 of 47, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns. My answer after I tell you about today's sponsor. Shout out to PrizePicks. PrizePicks is always hooking up the nation, man. If you want to get started, daily fantasy sports made easy. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS. And make sure that you use code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. I actually won $25 tonight because I took more on Jacoby Myers receiving yards. I took less on Hunter Renfrow receiving yards. And I also took the more on the pass attempts by Aidan O'Connell. I kind of wish I would have doubled down a little bit on Zamir White because Zamir White on PrizePicks had 70.5 at more and less, and Zamir ended up finishing with 71 yards, which, man, I was really thinking about doing. Bottom line, though, whether you're busy this weekend, to be honest with y'all, like the games that I'm putting money on today, New Year's Day, college football games. We'll talk about them here in a little bit, but if you want to go put your money where your mouth is, it's easy, it's simple. Pick 2+ players, choose more or less. Let PrizePicks show you why they are the #1 daily fantasy sports app out there. All you got to do is go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and make sure that you use code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. And if you're looking at what we're going to be rolling with for the New Year's games, Jeremy's going to go with Michael. He would say Penix. I'll say Penix. More 2.5 passing, rushing touchdowns. And then Xavier Worthy, more. And essentially you're just looking at a touchdown there. We're going to go with some picks today, and I can't wait for some awesome college football. Waking up this morning was not easy. I'll be real with y'all. Waking up this morning was not an easy thing. Getting ready to go after a tough Raiders loss. But I'm really looking forward to some good college football games today. And if you're like me, go get started with PrizePicks. All right, let's go back here to the Raiders. Need to find a new quarterback in 2024. It's no surprise. It's for just win babies. Believe it, baby. But here's the problem. You need to be able to figure out where exactly you're going to be in the 2024 NFL draft, because if you're just, say, 12, 11, 10, if you're outside of the top 10, in order for you to go get a Jaden Daniels, a Caleb Williams, a Drake May, bro, like, you're going to have to trade 3 first-round picks at minimum to get to pick 3. If you're like, Mitch, that's way too much. You're insane. You don't follow college, or you don't follow the NFL. You don't follow the NFL draft then. It took 3 first-round picks to go from 12 to 3 just a few years ago to get Trey Lance. And I'm telling y'all right now, it's going to cost more than that. So if you're somebody that's like, I want Jaden Daniels, I want Drake May, I want Caleb Williams, well, then you're on the boat where the Raiders are going to have to trade 3 first-round picks and a player of like a Devontae Adams caliber in order to get one of those guys. Do you want to mortgage the farm for one of those dudes? It's a tough question to be able to have. I mean, I know this, and I got a lot of people on social media yesterday saying, oh, Aidan O'Connell didn't play a bad game. 30 of 47, 299, 2 touchdowns. Did Devontae have some drops? Yes. Did the Raiders receivers in general have quite a bit of drops? Yes, they did. Is he handicapped by Bo Hardegree? Yes, he absolutely is. However, though, don't be a box score warrior, because to me, there is nobody that really gets underneath my skin more than a box score warrior when they sit up and they tell me, hey, man, he was 30 of 47 for 299 and 2 touchdowns. Let me just say this right now. Anybody that legitimately sat down, watched that Raiders-Colts game, all 4 quarters, and if you can look me dead in the eyes and say that Aidan O'Connell played a good game, I'm just going to look right back in your eyes and I'm going to say, you don't know ball. And I hate having that excuse. But you don't know what the hell you're talking about if you think Aidan O'Connell played a good game against the Indianapolis Colts, brother, sister. I don't know who it is. You don't know ball. So who will be the Raiders starting quarterback in 2024? This week on the Raiders Report, I am going to be making some videos. I've had a lot of people ask me, is it going to be Russell Wilson? is going to be Justin Fields. I'll tell you this right now. There is a better chance that Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are the quarterback of the Las Vegas Raiders in 2024 than Aidan O'Connell. And if Justin and Russell don't have a better chance to be QB than Aidan, then whoever the next head coach is, you failed miserably. Because if you roll out with AOC again, he's a career backup at best. You roll with AOC out there onto that field again, I'm not buying season tickets, I tell you that right now. Let's go to the final story here on the show. Jack Jones blew the game. He hopped off sides, got the penalty, missed field goal, and here we are. Here's the thing, though. Tuck rule, tuck that. One of my favorite insults that Jack Jones threw out last week was he called somebody a lollipop. And I'm going to say this right now. You're a lollipop with a stick in the long way. If you think Jack Jones is the reason why this team lost this football game against Indianapolis, because honestly, if you go back and you watch the film, you go back and you watch the tape, dude, I don't know if Jack Jones is offsides on that field goal attempt. I've watched it 100 times. There's times I look at it and I'm like, oh, maybe. There's times I look at it and I'm like, no way he jumped offside. Bottom line is this. There's so many plays throughout a game. And even though the Raiders defense, which is kind of funny, right? Raiders give up 23 points and people are like, the Raiders defense stinks again. You give up 23 points. They brought their C game. And sometimes that's going to happen. Sometimes you need your offense to be able to pick you up. But if anybody out there is saying that Jack Jones is the reason why they lost this game because of that jump off sides on a field goal attempt, and then the following field goal they make it, shame on you, bro. I mean that in the nicest way possible. Shame the F on you because, again, you didn't actually watch the game. Now, that's all the time I got for all of y'all today, and I'm actually getting ready to leave here from the studio. I'm off today, but I had to come in and make an extra video for the nation because that's what Jeremy Chugs and I do. 2024 is going to be a whirlwind of a year, but I promise you this. I can't always guarantee the Raiders are going to win. I can't always guarantee the Raiders are going to do the smart things in free agency, trades, and the NFL draft. Hell, it's been the complete opposite for a few years. But in the dark days, which that Colts game broke my heart. And, I feel like this, it takes me back to when I went to Oakland in that final Oakland game back in 2019. The Raiders lose to Gardner Minshew and the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I've never seen so many grown men cry leaving the Oakland Coliseum, but it's because it hurt. But you know what? That game also made me a diehard Raider fan. This game hurt, but 2024, I promise you this, it's going to be a better season. Believe it, baby. All right, man, before I get out of here, though, I'm a big-time football fan. Who you got, Alabama or Michigan? I feel like I should say Michigan from a company standpoint. However, roll Tide, baby. Let's go, Bama. Type those A's. Roll Tide. Give me the win on that one. And then the other game going on is Texas and Washington. From a company standpoint, I hope it's Texas, Michigan. Company standpoint. Nothing's going to make me happier than being able to watch a Texas game down here in Dallas. Bunch of company peeps rolling. But you know what? Give me the Washington Huskies. Give me Michael Penix, a.k.a. for Jeremy Chugs, Michael Penix Jr. I'm typing my W. Washington, Alabama, national championship is what I think happens. What I want, Texas and Michigan. That's what I want. So for me, it's a win-win. No matter what, though, enjoy these football games. Get started with our awesome sponsor, PrizePicks. But most importantly, be safe, be smart. Happy New Year. And if you made it this far in the video, let me know a 2024 New Year's resolution. For me, I got two. One, my first New Year's resolution, personal, buy a home. I'm trying to buy a home for my fiance and my dog, Chuck. Also, Chuck is now 3 years old. Happy birthday to him. Number two, I want Jeremy Chugs and I to do a live watch party inside of Allegiant Stadium. Message Allegiant Stadium on IG. Let's make it happen. Because I'll tell you what, if that shit goes down, man, Raiders Report, like Dogecoin, to the moon.